The DMV Hoops Podcast.
This is Jonathan Scribner, head girls basketball coach at St. John's College High School, and this is the DMV Hoops Podcast.
Welcome to the DMV Hoops Podcast. My name is Kurt Cross. Sitting next to me is Adam Crain. Of course, we are at the Capital Hoops Summer League at DeMatha Catholic in Hyattsville, Maryland. This is day 2, Monday, May 19th. We are broadcasting here, and we've just had a turnstile of coaches, legends, players come through. And right now, we have someone who I really want you folks to meet. I literally met him just, 5-10 minutes ago, but I'd like to have this man tell you who he is, none other than Mr. Tobias Jenifer from Huntingtown High School. Mr. Jenifer, talk to the people. Oh, let me turn your mic. You know what? This is day 2. Let me turn your mic on. Coach Jenifer, talk to the people.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me on, man. It means a lot. And I want to say thank you to Mark Stern for having us in the event.
Absolutely.
This is our first year in this.
Well, it won't be your last.
Let's hope.
Because iron sharpens iron, you already know.
That's right.
And here's the thing, Coach. We are the DMV Hoops Podcast. I've been podcasting for years. We are both basketball junkies in the DMV. My concern with this podcast is that I want to give exposure to everyone. Everyone knows the DeMathas, the Gonzagas. Everyone knows the IAC, the MAC. But what do they know about Southern Maryland? Now, Huntingtown, like in my day, Huntingtown wasn't even a high school. It was Northern and it was Southern.
Northern and Calvert was probably there too.
Calvert was there.
Sir.
You're right.
Northern and Calvert.
But you guys out there, Dares Beach Road, right?
Yeah.
You didn't know I knew that, did you?
Yeah, you're right. You hitting the nail on the head right now.
Dares Beach Road, Southern Maryland. We're talking Dunkirk.
Yes, sir.
We're talking Huntingtown.
Yes, sir.
We're talking about North Beach.
Yes, sir.
I know Solomon's Island too.
There you go.
All right, I know Southern Maryland.
And they got Patuxent down there.
All right, yes.
Yeah.
So, in a minute we're gonna talk about McDonough. Have y'all played McDonough?
McDonough out of Charles County?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Have you played? That's my man Dale Lambert down there.
Well, Dale is at Thomas Stone.
I'm sorry, he's at Stone. Yes,
sir.
He's at Thomas Stone.
Now you talking about a basketball legend,
right? I'm gonna get him on here.
Yes, sir.
Now, let me tell you how long I've known him. When I was a high school student, he was the truancy officer at Montgomery Blair High School.
Oh my goodness gracious!
So I know him, and he's a Lakers fan like me.
Man, you dating him a little bit, man.
I'm dating myself too. All right, Tobias, look, I'll be honest. We're gonna be straight transparent. I don't know much about your program, but I know you're here, and we get thousands of listens. So I want you to tell folks about Huntingtown. If you gave me your elevator pitch, tell me about Huntingtown basketball.
You know, we've the school's only been around about 20 years.
Right.
Founded in 2004, and we kind of have to make a name for ourselves. Mark gave us an opportunity to get into this event. I've been knocking on the door of trying to get into this event for the last 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
And just hadn't had any luck. We've had some success in our basketball journey as a program. In 2016, we made a state semifinal run.
Okay.
And we lost to CM Wright, who ended up winning the state championship that year.
Right.
And then just a couple years ago in 22, I took the team back to the state finals for the first time in school history. And we lost to Oakdale. Mm-hmm. And they got the best of us. So,
one of my boys coaches the girls program over at Oakdale.
Got you. So that was the year.
That's Frederick County.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So we beat City in double overtime.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, that was the year before they went undefeated back to back.
City and Poly are the schools out there.
Yeah. So we beat City in a heck of a game at North Point in double overtime in the semifinals, and then we played just 2 days later. We played Oakdale in the championship in 22, and they gave us a good
right.
Good whooping. So ever since then we've been on the hunt, and last year we had a pretty up and down year. I think we finished 14-9.
Okay.
We lost a couple close games, but the basis of our programming has been since day one with Coach Rick Weber started the program. It's just been about defense, just preaching defense day in and day out. So tonight, hopefully we get an opportunity to showcase some of our talent and really showcase some of the athletes we have in our program. Because Southern Maryland doesn't get the respect that it deserves.
Right.
But year in and year out, you're talking about St. Charles and Great Mills and even McDonough and Thomas Stone.
On the girls' side, you're talking North Point.
Oh my
They're
gosh.
always in the mix.
Yeah, North Point. Even our girls' team the last few years has some success.
Is that North Point coach still wearing them Argyle sweaters?
Yes, he is.
He's always.
Yes, he is.
He's always wearing the short white dude.
Yes, sir.
Always wearing them Argyle sweaters.
So it's for the girls' side and SMAC, it's been essentially North Point, Leonardtown, Huntingtown. The last few years, we've had some success. We've had some pretty good players. And hopefully I'm not missing anybody because I don't want to upset anybody. But it's really been those two at the top, Leonardtown and North Point.
Okay.
Hey, I just want to say, short white dude, Argyle sweater.
Sounds like
you
you, Adam.
describe me. If you add bald, that is me.
He knows his hoops, though.
Right. And this guy, both of them, North Point and this guy right here, Adam Crain, knows his hoops. What are you looking for? I mean, you see your kids, obviously, year-round, but November 1 through March 1 is when you really battle. That's when everyone watches the game.
Yes, sir.
What are you doing in the summer? What are you looking for in the summer?
Really, I'm trying to get these kids to play outside of their comfort zone.
Okay.
Do things that they want to do during the season, but this is the time that you get outside of your comfort zone and work on some of those things.
Okay.
And that you can prove that you can do this or you can do that. And really, with the landscape of college basketball right now, college basketball, they're really not recruiting the high school kid. Right. So you have to do the little things to get yourself recognized. So it's going to be defense. It's going to be diving on the floor. It's going to have to be deflections and boxing out and rebounding and all the little things that's going to get you recognition that you deserve. Because once again, SMAC is they're at the bottom of the totem pole. So what we have to do is the little things to get ourselves recognized. So we got to make games ugly. Right. They got to be sloppy. You'll win. You'll take some of those wins. But for our guys right now, I'm just trying to compete. I just want people to understand that there is basketball in Southern Maryland. Right. Not just in Hyattsville or in PG or in Anne Arundel or even Baltimore. There's basketball in Southern Maryland. Those guys can play too, and they deserve all the recognition. Not just Huntingtown, but all the other schools as well. That's in SMAC.
Okay, Adam, what you got for this young man?
Well, you said let's talk about the recruiting and how y'all get overlooked all the time because everybody's always looking for the stars and the WCAC and the high-profile players. What's it like for your kid like you're coaching and maybe he wants to go play D3? And how does that work out? Like, will he stay at your school, or is there pressure to go off to one of the better schools, or how does that work? How does that work out?
Well, it is tough because even the year after we went to states, we had a 6'7", 6'8" kid transfer out, and he went to Bishop Ireton the next year for his senior year. So that is tough. And but I will never stop a kid from chasing their dream, even as a head coach in a public school. If I feel that's what's best for the kid and their development and their future, then absolutely I'm all for it. But like even tonight, if you look right to your right, my coach for tonight, that's one of my former players, Charles Conti from McDaniel. Okay. He played there, just graduated. Unbelievable player for me in his 4 years, and even 1,000-point scorer at McDaniel in his time there. It's all about finding the best fit for the kid. I'm never going to push a kid to a Division II or a low Division I or even a JUCO if that's not the best fit for them and their family. It has to fit. And have to check off all those boxes. And so if Division III is in the play for them, then absolutely. If it's JUCO, which is probably right now what's best for a majority of our kids, then absolutely. But I want them to be comfortable. I want them to go to a home that really wants them, that is recruiting them and actually putting in the time and effort to get them to their school. A lot of programs will send out the mail and the junk mail and things like that. Hey, come to my camp and things like that. But once they start writing handwritten letters or coming out to the school or coming out to events like this and come and actually shake your hand and talk to you in person, then that's, to me, I think that's when it's really genuine and they have your best interest in mind. And it's all about the relationship. If you can find a coach that is invested in you, then I feel like that's a great fit. And there's nothing wrong with Division III at all, or two.
Speaking of three, that boy just took like 14 steps.
I saw it out of my peripheral.
My thing is, you can't start at half court and not dribble.
With the NBA, you never know.
Well, that's different things.
Yeah, that's right.
That boy took 4 steps.
TV.
That boy
Even watching the playoffs.
That's right.
They don't call that in the NBA. That's not a travel.
That's Ant Edwards.
That's right, special. Exactly.
Oh, boy, speaking of them boys, the Wolves have surprised me.
Oh, my goodness gracious, man.
I'm a Lakers fan, so I got no dog in the fight right now.
There you go. We've got some good basketball because I think all 4 of these haven't won. So I think this is a first.
It's the first time we're going to have.
Except for the Knicks. They've won, but it's been.
But we're going to have a new champion now because Denver's not going to do it.
Yes, sir.
Lakers can't do it. Boston's not going to do it.
Yeah, I like this type of basketball.
I do.
It's exciting.
The Knicks, I wouldn't sleep on the Knicks or the Wolves.
Oh, no, sir. They play defense.
Right.
And that's what I preach. So as long as you play defense.
Play defense.
The thing is, as long as you play defense, you can in any game. Because like tonight, say our jumper isn't falling tonight, like this team.
You can always turn on the defense, right?
Defense travel from gym to gym.
Right.
Defense will travel every night. But
defense wins games.
That's right.
OKC plays defense.
Oh man,
that's why they're so good, because they play defense.
Yes, sir.
So now, what does a successful summer, this summer, look like for your team?
Man, to me, it's not about the wins and losses first and foremost.
Okay.
It's about the development. And for me, as long as our kids, we have a somewhat young group. You'll see our roster. It's made up of majority rising juniors.
Okay.
And we have 3 rising seniors. I even have an 8th grader who's about 6'2", who's going to be playing. I got a 9th grader on the team. It's all about the experience, the development, the growth, the camaraderie that they're going to build amongst one another.
Right.
And that family, like we always preach, when we put our hands and we say grindhouse on 3, family on 6.
Right.
If you're gonna be about it, this is the time to do it. So when the team knocks you down, you gotta go over there and pick your brother up. Just the little things. And so that's really what I got my little notepad over there. Coach is holding it. I'll take my notes. How many times you went over there, go pick your teammate up? Did you stand up on the bench? Things like that. All that stuff matters. And that's what trickles down to wins at the end of the day.
The word is overused, but you're teaching culture.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
You got to teach that culture. You got to learn how to win. You got to learn how to lose.
Absolutely.
But so, did we just hear him say? So you won't coach. You'll have your guy coach, and
Yes,
you
sir.
observe.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit with my book. I'm gonna sit on the side, away from the bench, because I don't want to have any violations.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'll sit away from the bench and I'll take my notes.
And that's a public school thing. You can't
Yes, sir.
coach your team
until a certain date. So I think it's after Memorial Day. But
That's
I'll
right.
still have those guys coach because he's actually going to be joining our staff next year, hopefully.
You got to evaluate him.
Yes,
right.
Yeah.
And you want him to get better.
So he's
right?
one of my former players. He played college basketball. He knows the game. He's been coaching for me in the summer for like the last 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
So I really trust him.
Yeah.
We have a relationship.
He's like your right arm.
That's it. So when he played, he was the coach on the court as well.
Coach, you talked about culture, building team culture.
Yes, sir.
And some of the things that may be a challenge in today's world, building a team culture, could be AAU.
Oh my goodness.
Or social media, or transfer portal, NIL, et cetera, et cetera. Can you talk about some of the challenges with the AAU or social media or money and NIL and da-da-da-da? Can you talk about that?
Man, I'll first touch on AAU. I coach AAU in our county with a non-branded team. It's the Maryland Rockets, and I coach the 8th grade team because really I want to get those guys ready for high school. That's my goal. I used to coach with Team Takeover for a while, for about 6 years, and I gave that up to focus more on my local kids that's going to the surrounding high schools, including my own. But with AAU, with us not being able to coach our kids at the public school level, other than 80% of our starting 5.
There you go. That's the rule,
So
right?
it really makes it difficult for me to kind of build with those guys so that I would rather my kids all play together.
Right.
If they can all play together, those Oakdale team that we played against, the Oakdale teams of the past, I mean, I could go on and on and on, but all these AAU teams, all of these teams played together since they were little, and they built that cohesiveness. Right now with the AAU, it makes it very tough for us high school coaches to kind of dive into that and really do what we want to do because all of the regulations and things, which are in place for a particular reason
Right.
with the MPSSA, but it makes it very difficult and it's very challenging, but it's still doable. As far as the NIL and things, man, that's a world of its own. It's very tricky because, I don't know if I have too many kids in my particular program that are, Division I worthy or even Division II worthy. But at the same time, I have kids I think that are marketable. But I don't want kids to chase the money. Like, Don't chase the money. Like, do it because you love it. The money and things will come. You can still have a lucrative and long, prosperous basketball career, even at the Division III level.
Right.
Kedrick Frank, who just graduated from Salisbury University, who's also going to be coaching. He's one of my former students and player. is going to have an opportunity with some tryouts overseas. Okay. So there's nothing wrong with that. So he didn't get much NIL and things like that when he was in college. He got a little bit, but it wasn't enough to be like, oh my gosh, I'm rich, or this is Shedeur Sanders type of money. No, but if you don't chase the money, you do it because you love it. At the end of the day, I think that'll pay off down in the long run.
There's only 450 jobs in the NBA.
Yeah,
that's right.
It ain't many.
And everybody ain't retiring every year.
No, sir.
So what?
So social media is like a highlight reel.
Yes.
Youth. And then AAU is about, hey, how many points did you score? How many points did you score?
Yes.
And where are you committing? Blah, 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 blah. Is it tough to teach things like defense and sharing the ball and setting a screen and doing all those things that don't show up in the stat book when you've got every kid telling each other kid how many points you get, how many points you get? What AAU team you playing for?
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. Can you talk about that?
Man, it's a headache and a half, honestly. And with some of our kids I've coached before, man, it's when you're trying to build that culture and things of that nature, you have to break some of those bad habits. And when you have a bunch of kids that have grown up on YouTube and in that social media era, and they see all the hoop mixtapes and things of that nature, and they're just looking for highlights. It really takes the fun out of the game. And I tried. I know defense isn't pretty. I know it isn't exciting. It isn't what people would rather see. People want to see scoring. When I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, don't.
Oh no! Turn his mic off.
It's over.
Turn his mic off.
The podcast is officially over.
Now hold on. We gonna laugh at you on that one, boss.
Oh, man.
Come on, man. Sound the horn on here. We got a Cowboys fan.
We were just starting to like you.
Oh man,
Coach.
Well, let me take that back.
Yeah. He didn't mean
when
that.
I watch other sports,
Delete.
I also like seeing a lot of scoring. No doubt.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I'm a head coach, and I understand that defense wins championships. But when you're looking at these highlights and things, there's kids not putting mixtapes out of them just playing defense.
Right.
It's them just scoring. Did they cross somebody over? Did they get this dunk and things like that? And I feel like, even as a head coach, colleges aren't really looking at that. They're looking at the first 2 or 3 minutes of your highlight tape. Were you able to make an impact? Did you make the right plays? Did you make the best passes and things like that? Are you doing a little dirty work? Are you doing the things that everybody else doesn't want to do? And they don't care about all those highlights, man. I'll be honest, man. Even I don't care about the highlights. At the end of the year, kids making these huddle mixtapes and things like
because
that.
They're not gonna send you their lowlights.
No,
everybody got highlights.
Absolutely.
Look, I can make a layup and send it to you.
Oh yes, sir.
I don't have any highlights.
No,
I got a lot of lowlights.
All you got is
man.
lowlights.
I'm just a lowlight reel.
No, sir. I'm sure you got highlights in there somewhere.
I can't remember them.
We got halftime at Concordia Prep. It's 23-28. South County is beating Concordia Prep, but I think Concordia is going to make a comeback. I'll tell you why. Look at this. They've got all balanced scoring. South County, they got one kid with 16 of their 28 points, which is a dynamic score. We just talked about scoring,
yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
But they're balanced over there, it looks like, at
this
Concordia.
is a heck of a game. I've been watching. This is 2 public schools, correct?
Yeah, South County.
Virginia and Baltimore?
No, Concordia Prep. I'm thinking they're private.
No, I think they're public.
Really?
I think, hopefully I'm not mistaken.
It sounds private.
It sounds private, but I believe it's a public school in Baltimore. If you want to Google that.
Okay, I'm gonna Google it right now. Y'all keep talking.
I know South County is definitely public, and they've had a lot of success.
Now, were you a public high school kid?
Yes, sir. I went to Huntingtown. I graduated from there in 2009.
Oh, so you were young.
Yeah,
You're young.
Yeah, I'll be 35 in August.
I was going to say,
my
you
goodness.
look like
Yeah,
baby.
well, I appreciate that. That's why I try to keep all the facial hair as much as I can. Yeah,
So I don't know. I think it's private. It says Concordia Preparatory School is a co-educational parochial secondary school, blah, blah. Used to be Baltimore Lutheran School.
Okay.
The school is based in Towson, Maryland.
Okay, maybe they are private. I thought they were public. When I looked at
They got 341 kids. I think
they got some basketball players over here. I know that. They got out of those 341, they definitely got about 15 basketball players over
One
there.
thing you should be proud of is, again, Huntingtown went to school 20 years ago. So my guess is that they may have started with like freshmen and sophomore, and they grew and they grew
Yes,
and they
sir.
grew, and they broke what, Calvert Northern?
Yes,
or?
sir. They took kids from both schools and combined them.
Right. So look, you're doing a great job over there. Forget the fact that you only got 14 wins last year. You've been to the mountaintop, and I know you want to get there again.
Yeah, well, let me tell you a fun fact.
Please.
I'm at 97 total wins, and
Okay.
I need 3 more to break that century mark. So
Hold on. Should we go down there?
you should.
Yeah.
Should we go down there for maybe his 3rd game of the year and podcast from down there?
How long is the drive? I don't go
It's like an
anywhere.
hour.
Well, let me tell you something. It's in the country.
Let me tell you
I've been to Huntingtown.
It's a scenic drive.
I live in D.C. It took me an hour and a half to get here.
Well,
And
see,
you
that's
get the wrong
different. The
time.
traffic here is
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. So
Look, I've been to Huntingtown. I've been to Dunkirk. I've been down there. Is
beautiful.
who's it? I can't think. Is Bowen still down there? Bowen's Market.
Yes, sir. Bowen's
You,
Grocery.
see,
Right
know,
across-
I know
Well,
Southern
you-
Maryland.
Yeah, you know your stuff. It's right around the corner from my store.
all right, let's go. We're road tripping.
We're
Yo,
road
you
tripping.
got a good market? I'm in.
Yes, sir.
He
Good
said it
food?
first.
I'm in.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the DMV Hoops Podcast. Before we let you go, Coach Jenifer, how can people connect with Huntingtown basketball?
Let me get you my socials.
Get the socials.
Yeah,
We'll
man,
talk
it's
a little
important.
bit.
That's important.
We want to make sure people hear about
Now,
you.
don't give us your social security number. We
No,
don't need that.
we don't need that one.
Well, you can
don't
have
need
it. You won't get much. So on Twitter.
Wait, coaches don't get paid a lot? What?
Yeah.
You're not doing it for the money?
No, sir.
How do we find you on Twitter?
On Twitter or X, we're at Huntingtown_BBB, which stands for boys basketball. So Huntingtown_BBB.
Right?
And then on Instagram, we are Huntingtown Hoops.
Huntingtown Hoops on Instagram and Huntingtown_BBB on X, formerly known as Twitter. He's Tobias Jenifer, coach of Huntingtown High. Thanks for joining us, sir.
I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you so much.
Not
Means a
a
lot.
problem. And look, folks, this is the DMV Hoops Podcast. I'm Kurt Cross. He's Adam Crain. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
The DMV Hoops Podcast is hosted by Kurt Cross, featuring Adam Crain. Thanks for listening.